The Diageo special releases are something we've never really talked about on this channel. Actually, I'm pretty sure we've tried some. But do you know what? That's neither here nor there, because today we'll be looking at the Diageo special releases for 2022. Because I'm not feeling well and I don't want to drink anything, so I need to fill it out by talking about stuff instead. But we're going to have a fun old time. And I'm going to issue a challenge to somebody, and that's going to be exciting, and they're going to hate my guts for it, because they're probably going to be quite on board with it, and they're probably not going to have time. But anyway, hello everyone, and welcome to John Drinks, the channel where I, John, have a drink. I'm wearing a scarf today, and we're going to be talking about some really fucking expensive whiskies. Talking about them because there's no fucking way I'm buying them all, because I just don't make that much money. Nope, that does not happen. So what I have is, you might have heard it already, I have my phone down here. I think somebody's been sexting me. No, it's TikTok. Okay, wait, no it's not. My rent's been paid out. Well, isn't that just exciting? So I have Master of Malt open on sort of the smashed remnants of my phone. This thing is insured, I just can't be asked submitting it, it's still fine. And I'm going to go through the special releases for 2022, Electric Boogaloo, and we're going to talk about them. I don't think there's going to be anything surprising about the things that I have to say. I'm going to state some facts, and I'm going to state some what could loosely be termed opinions about these, and we're going to have a grand old time. So if you have literally nothing else that you want to do right now, or you need to procrastinate from like doing the ironing or something, stick around, because this is a way to do that. We begin with the Mortlach. It's a no-age statement. £250. That's exciting, isn't it? And the description online reads, this mystifying Mortlach, you see what they did there, single malt Scotch joins Diageo's 2022 special releases. The cask strength expression was finished in a combination of ex-Tawny ports, ex-Red Moscato, and virgin oak casks, inspiring a rather spooky blood moon, so it's appropriate for Halloween. I should have put the fucking lights on, shouldn't I? That was a mistake. On the label. There's also an owl. We're owl exterminators. About 3 of you will get that reference. That looks a little menacing. Perhaps ready to take on the beast of Dufftown. And then it ends. And there's, do you know what? I'll actually read out the tasting notes, because I'm probably never going to fucking try it. I'm not one of the people that gets the PR packs. They look gorgeous. I'll say that much. The PR packs, it's kind of like in a pillbox, hat box thing. And you lift the lid and it like flares out like the robot Ms. Nightshade from the remake of Robot Wars a few years ago. And inside you've got all these little drams and it looks gorgeous. And then people go online and review them and go, oh, that's really nice because I didn't have to fucking pay for it. The nose. Big nose. Oh, Master of Malt, you're drunk. Brown sugar, dried fruit, dark caramel, chocolate, coffee, dates, and cherry. Did I write these tasting notes? They sound very similar to the exact tasting notes that I always put out, and I'm well aware of it. The palate is full and spicy. Caramel, toffee, dark chocolate, bitter espresso, aromatic, pink peppercorns. Did I write this, actually? And the finish is muscovado sugar, a touch of wood tannin, and dark chocolate. Long and intense. So, like licking dark chocolate off of a coffee table, basically, is what I'm reading from that. What was that flash I just saw? That's terrifying. And overall, it's a big whiskey. Sweet and bitter, but with a good balance. So basically, if you're a size queen, this is the whiskey for you. Yeah, it's 57.8%. I do like the design on the front. It's something genuinely terrifying about it. I'd like to see a Noctowl in place of this. I think that would be fun. Right. Next. Yes. We've got a Lagavulin next. I'm doing these in no particular order. This is the Lagavulin 12-year-old, special release 2022. It's 57.3% ABV, so quite strong. And it has a burning demented phoenix on it. I'd like to see a Moltres on this. It's £135, good God. And the spiel reads, "The Flames of the Phoenix." It's the name of what they're going with. It's not the Phoenix Inn in York has burnt down. God, no, I couldn't live with myself if that happened. Is an appropriate theme for the 2022 special release bottling of Lagavulin, as it was designed to be the most phenolic Lagavulin yet, which is quite exciting. Fans of the distillery will know that means a truly peaty customer. That's slightly patronising. With lots of spice and power amplified by the virgin oak casks, this heavily peated Lagavulin is aged in alongside American oak refill casks. Did that do a weird grammatical thing? Maybe I'm just having a thing. Virgin oak, that's interesting. Heavily phenolic Lagavulin. Do you know what? I'm kind of on board with that, to be honest. The nose is bonfire, bacon and popcorn with some seaweed coastal notes. Really strong saline influence. The palate positively crackles with black pepper. You see what they did there. Sweet toffee and smoky wood. Yeah, smoky wood. And the finish is big chili peppers balanced with caramel. This is an interesting combination. That would be a hilarious bonfire night thing. Instead of toffee apples, toffee chilies. Holy shit, I'm going to make that a thing. That'd be funny. That'd shut the little shits up. Overall, beautifully balanced, classic Lagavulin, American oak sweetness really suits this. I mean, it's not much more expensive than the 16-year-old at this point, but it is a 12-year-old cask strength, 135. Only one per customer. What is it off? Next up is the Oban 10-year-old. It's 57.1% and it has a outer space galactic bunny on it. It's £105, so on the cheaper side. And the spiel. From Diageo's much-anticipated special releases comes a bottle of Oban 10-year-old that was aged in refill and new American oak, before further double maturation in ex-sherry and Amontillado seasoned casks. Interesting stuff from a bottle dubbed the Celestial Blaze. Ooh. Trying to make this interesting. A reference to the lights of the Aurora Borealis that can be seen from Oban Bay, and how legend has it that the vivid blaze of light was driven by a celestial being, which apparently is a bunny rabbit in this particular iteration. Yep, okay. Is anyone else getting kind of like they're trying to like replicate Flora and Fauna's success by like going full on acid trip with the animals? Because, I mean, they are. Anyway, the nose, it's sweet smelling with vanilla and toffee with red cherry and cardamom. The palate is lively, very spicy, licorice, cardamom, cloves and orchid fruits, highly aromatic. The finish is long with tobacco and mint, or menthol cigarettes I suppose. Overall, lovely aromatics, invigorating like extremely upmarket Listerine. It's not every day I question somebody else's tasting notes, because let's face it, mine are whack. But, the fuck? Extremely upmarket Listerine. I have nothing more to say. I think there is no more to say. Fascinating. Let's move on to Cardew. Cardew's 16-year-old. This is 58%. It's a full round figure. And it has a passion bird or something. It's some kind of avian with pretty feathers, and it's kind of difficult to make out because of the sort of red background as well. It's £160, this one. Interesting because you don't get too many Cardew releases. I mean, I know there's a 15 and 18, and there's actually scratch that. There's a fair few Cardew releases now I think about it. A rummy Cardew here from the 2022 edition of the always popular Diageo special releases. How many different ways can we find to say 2022 Diageo special releases? They're doing it. They're doing it. This one has a pleasant dose of funky tropical sweetness added by finishing the whiskey in ex-Jamaican rum casks, which is always quite exciting to be honest. While the theme of the hidden paradise of Black Rock is a nod to the original name of the distillery, Cardew, or the Black Rock. Okay, it's a nice little touch I suppose. The nose is lovely fruit, apples, peaches, vanilla, baking spices, marzipan and pastry. The palate is peppery, creamy, chili, vanilla with a saline, refreshing edge. And the finish is peppery, spicy and fresh. Overall, very elegant and classic with subtle influence of Jamaican rum casks. It is not like an upmarket Listerine. I can't get over that. Rum casks, fascinating. I always get along quite nicely with rum cask finished whiskies. My fella always gets along quite nicely with Finnish cask whiskey rum. Was that what I was about to say? Jesus Christ. I knew I had to swap something around and I fucked it. I fucked it so bad. What was I saying? My fella enjoys being fucked badly. No, my fella enjoys... I mean, yes. But he enjoys... oh, what is it? Whiskey cask finished rums. There we go. Got there in the end. Christ alive, I'm getting dumped. Cool. That's fun. That's fun, you know. I don't have much of an opinion on these so far, do I? We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Stick around till the end of the video. And did you know I have a Patreon? I hate myself. Have we done Talisker? We haven't done Talisker yet. Alright. Does this taste like budget Colgate or something? It's 55.1% and it's a 11-year-old, which is interesting. You don't see many 11-year-olds. It's the problem when you say weird things about ages in whiskey. It sounds really creepy because out of context. And there is a giant, shiny jellyfish. I was like, what animal is this? I was trying not to say Man of War because I'm trying not to copy G Whiskey's video verbatim on this, where he described it as the glimmering Man of War. If you haven't seen that video, by the way, fucking hilarious. The man's a comedy genius. I bow down to him. This particular one is £110, and I would like to see this label redone with a tentacruel. Why do I keep asking that? We'll get to it. So, this tremendous Talisker joins Diageo's 2022 special release lineup following 11 years of maturing in first fill ex-bourbon casks. Deliciously sweet and fruit-forward with all the classic layers of pepper and coastal bonfire, as opposed to an inland bonfire. This lightly peated offering fits right into the collection. We know this because it's in the collection. The label features a rather mesmerising luminescent jellyfish, bringing some light to the dark depths of the ocean. Just filling out the paragraph here, aren't we? The nose is all wood fires, furniture polish, vanilla, lemon peel, and lemon juice. So lemon, then. Struggling a little bit on the copy with this one, weren't they? The palate is peppery and sweet with a touch of tannin, lingering bonfire, sweet oak, dried fruit, and apricot. I've never eaten a bonfire, I don't know about anyone else. And the finish is long, peppery with a toffee sweetness. Overall, sweet and fruity, the sweet edge doesn't blunt the Talisker charm. Whatever the hell that means. Now, why do I keep referencing Pokemon in this? Well, back in the olden days of YouTube, back when I was but a nipper, there used to be such a thing as video responses, and they don't exist anymore. It's a crying shame because they were quite a fun little way to interact directly with other people's videos. Basically, if you had a video and you wanted to engage with it in a particular way, you could post a video response, or you could ask other people to respond to your video by posting a video response of that video, and they'd kind of work in tandem with each other, and it was a great way to promote your videos and do collaborations remotely. I haven't discussed this with him. In fact, if he's watching this, he'll be like, wait, what? I love the labels on these. I think they're gorgeous. I do. Now, I know a lot of people have a lot of flack when it comes to like designs and stuff like that. And I was thinking it would be fun to do a satirical take on these labels. Unfortunately, my graphic design skills are, whilst not absent, a little bit lacking for what is artistically necessary for these. So I wanted to throw down a challenge to Mr. Jeff Whiskey, who is very impressive when it comes to his graphic design abilities. Having seen the evolution of his logo over the years, I've loved every single iteration of it, and I've always been kind of sad when it's been replaced by a new one. But the new one's always also been gorgeous, so I've not minded so much. And I wanted to basically say to Jeff, like, you know, I think it would be fun if you did a video on these where you redesigned the labels featuring Pokemon in place of the various animals. I think a tentacruel on the face of an open bottle would look fucking fantastic. Because, you know, you've got time for this. You've only got a job and a family to worry about. You know, I'm sure you've got loads of spare time kicking around. I just think that would have been a bit of fun. This is completely not held to it, but I just thought, you know, it's a bit of fun. There's a little bit of a, you know, bit of a bit. What I'm saying is, I want to see Vaporeon on the Glenord bottle. Okay, that's all I want. Speaking of which, actually, the Singleton of Glenord is next. It's a 15-year-old at 54.2% ABV, £120. 120 is Starmie. Yeah, so for 2022, Diageo makes its special releases all about interesting casks. This is a very short paragraph, this one. An approach exemplified in this Glenord bottling. It was matured initially in refill American and European oak casks before being treated to a period of 8 years in wine season casks. Fascinating, actually. The nose is waxy apple peel notes with almonds, baking spice, brown apple and toffee. The palate is mellow, sweet baking spices, almonds and hazelnut, very harmonious if they do say so themselves. The finish is long lingering baking spices and vanilla. And overall, very subtle red wine influence, really just classic orchard and spice Glenord, but with extra ABV, which is something we all love, a bit of extra strength in our whiskey. We're nearly there, don't worry. Actually, are we nearly there? I think we're only about halfway through. Jesus Christ, this is going to take all night. Next up, we have a grain, an old grain, because they tend to be. This is the Cameron Bridge 26-year-old. Now then, it's been formatted on the label as Cameron Space Bridge. My understanding, because that's how it used to be put out. But anyway, it's neither here or there, to be honest. It's just an interesting formatting choice, and it does look quite tidy, I will say that much. It's 56.2% ABV, and it has a knight and a horse on the front. So still an animal, but a little more of an unusual kind of a take on that one. It's £275. This one. Why is a grain whiskey £275? One would have to assume it's because of the age, and they're just hoping not enough people know. I don't honestly know. The price on a lot of these is a subject we'll come to. Again, no surprises for guessing which side of the fence I lie on. The Diageo special releases just wouldn't be the same without some lovely old grain in there, and that's exactly what we have here. For 2022, it's a textbook example of Cameron Bridge. Is it? Aged in refill American oak casks to create something very lovely indeed. Interestingly, it's been bottled as Cameron Bridge, a nod to the fact that until the 1870s it was spelled with 2 words rather than 1. There it is, right there. Nose, apple and pears, with almonds, oaty cereal notes, cinnamon and marzipan-like pastry. The palate is very smooth texture. Vanilla. Thanks for making me say that out loud. Almonds, custard with just a twist of black pepper and baking spice. And the finish is vanilla custard, a touch of wood tannin and woody spice. So if you like woody custard, think before you speak, John. Overall, gorgeous textbook old grain. Nothing wacky going on here, just lovely old whiskey. Okay. Then lastly, we have the Clynelish 12-year-old, which I've just had to spend the past 5 minutes looking for because I couldn't find it anywhere on Master and Malts, bizarrely. So I don't know if maybe they just decided not to stock this one. I don't know, but they've got 7 of the 8 listed. So I'm actually on the Whiskey Exchange for this one. This is a Clynelish 12-year-old. It's the Sherry Cask Finish Special Release 2022. It's 58.5%, and it's got a giant flaming cat on it. So that's cute. Jeff, if you are taking this, I want Mo. Just Mo on the front of this. Could be licking his balls. I don't care. I just want Mo on the label. That's you're not gonna have time for this. It's a silly little thing. Apparently, the Clynelish is very popular. This particular one because not really available. But we'll go into tasting notes in a second actually because you have to go on a separate thing on the website for that. A welcome return for Clynelish to the Diageo special releases. This 12-year-old whiskey takes the classic bourbon maturation of Clynelish and then adds a finish in PX and Oloroso casks, so big on the sherry, to give extra layers of rich and dark fruit. A very different and delicious take on the distillery's waxy and fruity character. Less waxy than it has been in previous years, but I mean, hey-ho. And the tasting notes. Fruitcake, brown sugar, Danish pastries, sticky baked apples and vanilla sauce. Fruitiness slowly starts to poke its way through. Apples, pears and pineapples. At the back is thick and fruity toffee sauce, stirred through with raisins. Much more involved tasting notes on this, it has to be said. The palate is rich, rounded and thick. Actively thick on the palate. Apples, sultanas and raisins, start fresh. I've got other things in my mind, clearly. And are slowly cooked down into a rich sauce. Is this turned into a cookery video? Mincy touches give a burst of further freshness that fades to reveal another round of rich spice and a touch of dark chocolate. And the finish is layers of orchid fruits and chocolate at first. Apples linger as polished oak and buttery notes build. So a buttered coffee table, basically. What are my thoughts on these? I'm probably never going to buy a bottle. I mean, the Klein Leash is probably one of the only ones that really kind of stood out to me, and by the looks of it, stood out to everyone else as well, because it's gone, pretty much. I don't have a price to quote for you on that one. It'll be somewhere, don't worry about it. Yeah, they're overpriced. I did say there's going to be nothing surprising about the take that I had. There's nothing hot about the take that I have to give on this one. They're really pricey. Diageo have been gouging their prices on a few products recently. Obviously, we've noticed it most famously with the Lagavulin 16. That went massively up. And as a fair few people have noted, because of the price increase, people are still going to pay it. Of course they are. But certainly for, like, you know, more enthusiasts level, there's just too much competition at that level to really keep up. I mean, Lagavulin, a delightful whiskey, but it's just, there's too much else out there now for £75, I think is what it's going for now. It's probably going to go up again before too long. 'Cause of course, you know, there's the energy of making it. It's an older whiskey. Peated stocks, they're not doing too great at the minute. That's in the news at the moment. So, you know, if you're a fan of your peated whiskies, that could be a problem. It will be a problem, on the addition of, you know, making the whiskey and casking the whiskey and storing the whiskey and putting it in the bottles and paying the... It's a lot. There's a lot. The more you think about it, the more you kind of like, it's a miracle any of this stuff actually gets off the ground. So, you know, just be thankful that it does, I suppose. What are your take on the Diageo special releases? Are any of them caught your eye? Do you prefer just to kind of stick with IBs and just pretend? Do the designs interest you? Do you like the idea of doing your own designs? It's a bit of fun. Leave all these comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and do join me next time, where I'll be drinking something, hopefully.